Welcome back to the channel, everyone, and we are going to do some more Hearthstone. This is the primary series of this channel, NoDustNoWorries. It's Season 3, Episode 1, and it usually was Budget Rogue, but now we are doing Budget Shaman. Since, if you've been following the series thus far, I've picked up a couple of nice Budget Shaman cards. I got Double Lightning Storm, I think I got a couple of Azure Drakes. So we are actually looking pretty good to do a Budget Shaman run, and I thought, after 2 months of doing the same thing, let's try the third month of doing something else. Now, I basically did nothing last month since I was away from the channel, so we only got the Shield Bearer's Footlocker. Do we actually... I think you get one... Okay, so the Glory will be useful for Emergency Dust if we need it. And here we are. Let's hop in. We've got 5 bonus stars, which I believe will put us at rank 23. And there's just a couple of quests here, which I should probably re-roll into Shaman quests. Let's just... Well, there's Double Priest here, so we can probably make use of that at some point if I do... Here we go, there's a Shaman there. Okay. What was I going to do? That's right, before we do anything further, I'm going to update. So as you can see here, we're starting off with the Budget Shaman. 10 out of 20 basic cards. I haven't leveled this card. I haven't leveled this list at all, and we are going to let's just review the list and just make sure that we don't want to make any changes, because I do remember pre-preparing, doing some pre-work for this list, and building the Budget Shaman list before I had in the finale of the Rogue list, and I will put that in the show notes. Put a link in the show notes for the Rogue playlists, the Budget Rogue playlists. Last month, or actually the month before, the month ending December 2016, we got to rank 12, I believe, so that was pretty good. That doesn't mean I expect to get any better or any worse. Definitely not any better with the Shaman. I'm definitely not as experienced with Shaman, but this will be an interesting experiment. Now, let's see how we are looking. We're looking pretty good here, I think. And we're starting at rank 23, so it's not too much pressure. So I just want to quickly scroll through, see if there are any new cards that I might possibly want in this list. The Argus may well be very good. The Argus may be very useful. Darkhind. Let's sit on it for now. Let's see how we go with this pre-prepared list. But I will note down the possibly replace sub out Senjin for Argus, because Argus is faster than Senjin, but Argus requires a little bit more preparation. You need some board presence for the Argus to work. What else is there? We have a Golden Demolisher, which I probably will be getting rid of. Double Harvest Golem, which isn't too bad. Yeah, we have picked up a couple of cards just through the reward system of monthly rewards, and possibly just buying packs here, there, and everywhere. Bone Guard is not too bad in Shaman, I believe, and Pyro is not too bad either. Although we already have a Bomber Pyro combo. I mean, we have one Bomber, we have one Pyro. Abusive. We do have double Abusive. Now, I don't have any weapons, so you know what? I think I will sub out a Rockbiter. Actually, let's just leave it. Let's just do a couple of games with this pre-prepared list, because I don't want to slow down this video any more than necessary. But again, sub out Rockbiter for second Abusive? Question mark. I'll keep that in mind. Okay. And did we pick up any other Shaman cards? There's a Lightning Bolt, there's a Zap-O-Matic, Draenei, Totem Carver, Double Thunder Bluff, Totem. Okay, I think that's the way we got to do it. Let's hop into game. And while the game loads up, so let's queue up into ranked. And as the game loads up, I will sort of just reiterate the the concept behind this series. So it's called NoDustNoWorries. It basically means that I play budget classes, and I play budget lists of budget classes. So as you can see on the right hand side of the viewport, you can see my deck list and a deck cost. And we specifically leave out epic, legendary, and adventure cards because, in my opinion, those cards are difficult to get, and you rely on RNG, either RNG or being really good at Arena to be able to obtain those cards. So I intend this budget series to be, for players who are just starting out, and you can sort of build this list fairly cheaply. I mean, 1.56k. 1.56k is not too bad. It's not too hard to gather that sort of dust. And especially since most of the cards here are commons and rares. I mean, that's all there will be. We have commons, rares, and class cards. That's it. So not hard to gather. Okay. So game 1 is against Warlock. I'm sensing a Zoolock, and there is by no means does this mean that he is, just because he's at rank 23, this is the start of the season, so that by no means is he, how do you say, like a beginner. Now, do I risk the Mad Bomber, or wait till next turn to coin Horse Rider? Because coin Horse Rider will deal with this very neatly. It does slow me down. I could just Abusive, actually. Yeah, let's just Abusive. The Abusive is vulnerable to Mortal Coil, but it does get him to waste his coil, and if he does Mortal Coil, I can coin Horse Rider anyway. But if he didn't have the coil, I would have been able to challenge the Flame Imp. Now, this isn't great, but I can Lightning Bolt coin Bomber. The reason I do that is the Voidwalker doesn't challenge the Bomber by itself, but if for some reason if the Bomber doesn't kill the Flame Imp, then the Flame Imp will challenge the Bomber. So yeah, I think I will do that. Lightning Bolt coin Bomber, and the Bomber will get a fairly beneficial trade, fairly efficient trade against the Voidwalker, unless he has another Mortal Coil. Now, the fact that he has a Mortal Coil in his list, this is at least, I don't know what level you get Mortal Coil at, because it's a Soulbound card, but interesting. That's fine. We will just be toteming up this turn, which is annoying. Yeah. And next turn we'll get access to 4 mana. Now the Darkine works, but he's probably going to clear my totem. Interesting. Okay. So it is some sort of variant of Zoolock. Always. Okay. There is merit to not tapping first, actually. There is merit to not tapping first because you may have wanted, his hand may have been filled with nonsense. Now I think Scarlet Crusader is better here, because it challenges both minions and it requires both minions to trade into it for a clear. Whereas if I just played the Dark Iron Dwarf, I would have been on curve, but it's too easy for the Succubus to take it out. Yeah, anyway, so just going back to the budget concept. Yeah, so, only common cards, only rare cards. We don't get any access to adventure cards. Okay, the Doomguard is going to be problematic. But we still have... Okay, so you're that keen on protecting... Yeah, the Doomguard is going to be hard to deal with. Yeah, like I said before, by no means is this... how do you say? Actually, we can do Knife Juggler, Argent Horse Rider. Now, we'll clear this first. Yeah. Juggle Horse Rider to give me a clear on the Alchemist. Now, I don't want the knife to land on the Alchemist. If it does, that's too bad. But here we are. We're pretty good here. And he did discard a Dread Infernal, which means that it's pretty unlikely he has a second in hand. I mean, it's not out of the question. But because my board is very weak to Dread Infernal. But other than that, we're looking pretty good. Okay, so you're just going face. I think I'd Knife Juggler and then Dark Iron. Yeah. Let's see where the knives land. I think I'm gonna... let's do this. Yeah. So if I buff this to a... Excellent. So I get a clear on the Doomguard, and I think I will clear the Brute just for safety. I can't really risk it hitting me in the face because he may have another Doomguard and another something like a Doomguard Dark Bomb or a Doomguard Soulfire, and that would definitely not be cool. So I think that was the... Oh, Fisty Fist. Interesting. Interesting card. I'm not sure how much it does for you. Okay. Let's see if we can get some lucky knives from the Thunder Bluff totem up. Ideally they go to his face, because I need to clear... Either they go to his face, or a good outcome would have been they go to his face and I get a taunt, or either or would have been good, because that would have stopped. That meant I could have saved the knife juggler. Because here's your knife juggler. It's fine. I'm happy to spend a Are you gonna soulfire my? Okay, you're gonna drain. Okay, it's not too bad. I'm not too concerned about that. Now I'm definitely not rock bitering, but we can clear. We can hit. Now, do I want to totem before I trade the searing off or after? Because there are merits where it does make a difference before or after. If I do it before, I have a higher chance of a taunt. So I do think I need to go for the higher chance of a taunt. Okay. Okay, I think we still do this. Let's drop the Azure. Okay, this is not bad. Yeah, he's looking to finish now. With me being at 3 health, the Dark One will finish me, so it's not looking great. And the Hellfire does finish me. Okay, so I think the main turning point of that game there. And let me record the loss. Okay, that's not working. Let me actually quickly do some behind the scenes stuff. Okay, and it's not quite showing up, so let me see if I can get it. Here we go. Okay, so we have recorded our first loss. Yeah, that Doom Guard there was a problem. I think he might have gotten 2 hits off on my face or something like that. Either way, the burn was problematic, and we weren't able to deal with that. But that's fine. We're level 1 Warlock. Not Warlock, Shaman. I don't expect too much to happen. Although I might want to note that deck lacks some healing. Might be helpful. Well, I'm actually not sure if the deck lacks any healing, but let me just have a look. Let me just zoom in. We do have 1 heal bot, and that might have been helpful to have. But let's see how we go. Okay, next game. So normally I'd be skipping these loading phases and skipping to the mulligan, but just talking a little bit more about the budget concept. Yeah, so only commons, only rares, no adventure cards, no legendaries, no epics, because I feel they're just hard. I mean, to craft an epic, the cost of my list is less than what it takes to craft an epic. I mean, no, less than what it takes to craft a legendary, a regular legendary, not a golden legendary. So that really is sort of how I envisioned the series to be. Okay, now we keep our 2 drops, I think, and that Pyro gives us a little bit of flexibility with Pyro Coin. Although I don't expect too much use. I don't expect that to be too useful against a Mage. So we got game 2 Mage. Although having said that, Pyro Coin will be useful next turn. I think I just pass. I could coin out the Knife Juggler to absorb that hit, but I can Pyro Coin. What would I be coining out? I don't have a 1-drop to coin out. I got to think about this actually. I don't think it's a good idea to coin out the Knife Juggler either. I think probably Pyro Coin, Rock Biter, whatever 2-drop he plays, and that'll do double burn though. So I don't know. It's hard to say. Maybe just Pyro Coin. Now we can sort of take the Leopard Gnome Death Rattle because of Earthen Ring. Or do I want to just develop Knife Juggler? Yeah, because I mean at this point, I think the Pyro Coin is a little wasteful right now. I do have the Pyro Hex combo that will deal with any big minion. Let's just sacrifice. Let's just feed the Knife Juggler to him. Let's see if he or she will trade the Leopard Gnome into the Knife Juggler, because it makes obvious sense to do so. Next turn I can develop my Earthen Ring and have a flex of coining out a Rock Biter for tempo. Okay, interesting. It's like an aggro mage that doesn't have that didn't draw into its early game, I'm quite confused. Now, if I coin out the 4, what would I be playing on 4? Because this does have more reach, and I don't really need the healing right now. But then the coin is useful for Pyro as well. Let's just play on curve. I'll save the coin for flexibility, because next turn I can also Pyro. I can also so I can do Shredder, coin, Rock Biter. I think it's I'm not quite sure what is the best policy in terms of you know, spending your Pyro and your coin. I tend to like to save the coin for unforeseen circumstances. I mean, you can use it to get ahead, but yeah, I do think it's better to save it for unforeseen circumstances. So we'll just develop on curve. This thing's going to deal 2 damage unless it gets buffed. This could be some sort of gimmicky, you know, abusive Darkine Dwarf deck. And if you buffed it by 4 attack, say you did double abusive or abusive Darkine, it would be 5/4 and hit me for 10. That's pretty scary. But at this point, that is not happening. So okay, yeah. So this is we are actually going up against an actual level 23. I mean, rank 23 player. So I don't expect to have too much trouble here, though. I don't want to count my eggs before they hatch. Yeah. No, just from that play, yeah, I don't think we'll have too much trouble here, because with Wind Fury, you want to attack face and then use the second attack to trade off, if you are trading off. Okay, so we will do this. Now, I think I might want to try for a totem, because I can get the healing totem, be really good. I don't need the card draw right now, so let's try for the totem first. That's not too bad either, because then that protects, actually, that's actually really good, because it protects both of my, actually, it just protects my Shredder, because this thing's probably going to get pinged. But having said that, the Earthen Ring getting pinged means that my opponent will have to choose between pinging the Earthen Ring and pinging the Scarlet. And it's a tough choice, actually. Okay, so we have our Jouster, perfect target for Hex. Hex is such a powerful spell, particularly when you combo it with Pyro. I really like the fact that, you know, you can Pyro Hex. It's sort of like Pyro Equality, sort of. Sort of also like Pyro Hunter's Mark, which will do the same thing. Actually, it won't do the same thing. Hunter's Mark won't work against a Divine Shield, because it'll just burn off the Divine Shield. But a Hex will work. Okay, now what do we want to do? What do we want to do? I think I just straight up Hex. Yeah, I think I just straight up Hex, and then I save my resources, because we have a Direwolf in hand. I think I just straight up Hex. Because we have a second Hex, and we have reach with the Direwolf, so next turn we can deal a ton of damage with the Direwolf, if necessary. Direwolf plus a Rock Biter will allow me to deal a ton of damage. So looking pretty good so far. I think this list is working out fine, and if I don't need the reach, then I won't use the reach. Okay, and I think we will actually use the reach here, or perhaps not. I do want to develop the Stormwind, but before we do that, let's open up the Shredder to see what happens, because there are a number of unfortunate things that can come out of Shredder. Yeah, let's trade this, and then we Stormwind. Now, I think one thing that I do know about Shaman, even though I'm not very experienced, is I like to, okay, so this is just a preference. I'm not sure if this is correct or not. I like to play my big minions on the left-hand side, because your totems always appear on the right-hand side. And if you drop a Direwolf, you can go totem trade, totem trade, totem trade. But if there's a big minion in the middle, then it'll preclude you from using that final totem. This will play out at some point in the future, and I'll show you guys what I mean. Okay, so here we are. So let's, yeah, I think this makes sense. So let's totem up first. That's pretty good. I could actually, yeah, I think I Dark Iron the Sheep and then send both of them in, because that makes me a little less weak against something like Blizzard. And we're still sitting pretty strong. We still have a lot of damage from hand, so I'm not going to overcommit. I'm going to ask him to Flame Strike. And once the Flame Strike comes down, then I can re-establish. That's one of the things that I like to do as Shaman. I'd like to ask my opponents to clear my board, And toteming up is one of the best ways to just, hey, how are you going to deal with this board? Sort of, ask that question. Okay, so we will totem up. And, yeah, hit. And I think this merits... I don't actually need it to... No, I don't think I need to spend the Hex just yet. Because what's the worst thing that can happen? This thing gets flame struck and he pings the Berserker and it deals 8 damage to my face. That's not super bad. So let's wait. I can use Direwolf trading shenanigans next turn to deal with it for free without having to use the Hex. So I think it's worth risking that 8 damage to face. Here we go. So there's the 8 damage. It's going to just hit my Stone Claw, which is also great. And now this actually goes, him pinging it puts it in within range of Rockbiter and also Earth Shock. Okay, now I think I hit Earth Shock this thing. Now we're pretty sure there's no Flame Strike in hand, but that doesn't preclude my opponent from drawing into Arcane Intellect and then Flame Strike. So I don't know whether it's still intelligent to play around. So let's totem up first. Earth Shock this thing. And we will clear the one that is more threatening because this spell power is quite threatening. And if I hex, okay, I think it's worthwhile rockbitering myself and hexing the 4/5 just to protect my board. Yeah, let's do that. Because you might be saying you're spending a hex on a 4/5, but whatever comes out next, I can use my board to trade into it. So it works out quite similarly, I believe. Like if you have board control, you can affect you can work out beneficial trades against your opponent. Here we go. This is what I mean by beneficial trades. Now I will totem up first to look for the taunt again, and I'll probably just be spending the spell power because I don't need the spell power right now. And we're going to heal up. So it's very hard to lose from this point with a healing totem and being able to do beneficial trades. And if I have to do a big trade, like you have to trade my whole board in, then I do have Double Drake to refill my hand. So this is sort of the ideal position to be in as a Shaman. But the difficulty often is getting to that position as opposed to figuring out how to play from that position. Now I will develop Kraken because it stays neatly out of Flame Strike range. So this is this is also anti-Flame Strike. Everything will be cleared, but there'll be 9 damage on the board. And unless, so it's difficult for a mage to deal with a board like this because of the 9/7. So you either deal with the 9/7 or you deal with the rest of the board and don't deal with the 9/7. Okay, so that was pretty good. We won at level 23 as we were expected to. Okay, that was pretty good. And we got one more Shaman victory to go. Yeah, let's just do a couple more games and then I will skip to the mulligan. Okay, against Paladin. Do I keep the Lightning Storm? I don't know how much Lightning Storm will do against a thing like Muster. That's the main thing that I'm going to be afraid of on Paladin. Do we keep the Rockbiter? Yeah, this is interesting. Rockbiter. What would I be Rockbitering on turn 1? There's nothing I'll really be Rockbitering on turn 1. And I don't think I really want to keep the Direwolf either, because it's not the best 2-drop. Yeah. There is something I need to figure out. What is the optimal mulligan against specific classes, e.g. Pally? So let's see. Yeah. Now I can coin out the Knife Juggler. What's the worst thing that can happen if I coin out the Knife Juggler? Does he have any 2-drop responses? He does have the Argent Lance. So there's a chance of Argent Lance. And then my turn 2 would just be toteming up, which is not very good. Okay, let's pass. I think it's better to Knife Juggler, Coin, Maiden on turn 3. And then it gives me really efficient. Okay, that's fine. And I can play the Knife Juggler into this. You do run the risk of this plus Muster. But that's fine. It's just the card. You lose the card. It's not like I'm going to lose the game just because I lose the Knife Juggler. Plus there are 2 in my deck. This thing is designed to draw fire. Okay, pretty good. Now, Coin Maiden. Yes, I think Coin Maiden. And if I get a lucky juggle on the Annoyatron, then we will be in business. Not quite. But I will run into the Divine Shields just to reduce the value of any future, like a Kings or a what's that other one? The one that gives Divine Shield and +3 attack. That actually doesn't change anything if I trade into that because it reapplies Divine Shield. What's it called? I don't remember. It's been a while since I've played a Paladin list, but no doubt we will see that card. So this is some sort of Death Rattle Divine Shield Pally. I'm not sure. Okay, now this is pretty good. I can Earthshock hit. Earthshock hit. I think that makes the most sense. Let's totem first. I don't really want to expose the Direwolf, and that's actually not a bad totem because it forces the Harvest Golem to trade into it. Okay, and it heals my Maiden out of range. Now, do I want to develop Direwolf? Yeah, because my turn 5 and 6 are looking pretty full. Let's develop the Direwolf. I will be drawing fire. But this thing will be healed to a point where I can trade into the remnants of the Harvest Golem. Because there's the Argus Secret. And then I'm assuming this will be some sort of Avenge nonsense. Now, assuming Avenge nonsense, I think I dropped this. I don't think I need to use the Drake just yet. I'm assuming Avenge nonsense. Yep. Now that's perfect because I can Rock Bite on my face. And I don't mind taking the 5 damage. Paladins don't tend to have a lot of burst. And it's actually quite important for me to keep my Maiden alive. Because the one mana hero power is actually insane. A Maiden that stays alive for a couple of rounds of hero powers. 1 mana to summon a totem is ridiculous. 2, I mean, you know, because it's like a 50% discount. You're paying twice as much to do it normally. Now, these Argus plays are going to be annoying. But we do have the Senjin. And I can hit. Yeah, I can hit Senjin totem. Okay, let's do that. Okay, that's not the best totem, but hit. Yeah, we get a fairly efficient clear. Now, we are weak to Consecrate. Does that mean I want to spend the Searing? No, I don't think so. Because this is going to run into my Senjin anyway. Okay, let's hold on to the Searing. I think just to increase the chances of me, if this board stays alive, I get an increased chance of triggering the Healing Totem, which will again be useful. So some sort of strange Secrets Pally. I don't know why you'd run Mad Scientist in Secrets Pally. I mean, it does sort of make sense. Okay, now I think that I will trigger the Get Down. I'm assuming there's a Get Down in here. Get Down, and if there is a if there's a second Avenge, then I can, in an emergency. Well, first of all, let's make a dude. Okay. Is this an Avenge? Okay, so Redemption on the 1/1, which I don't really care about, and it. The next question is actually there's no Avenge. Excellent. So that's what I was hoping for. That's fine. You Redemption. I mean, you Repentance on a Divine Shield. I don't really care. And we dealt with those secrets in a fairly efficient fashion, And the problem being that the maiden still stays alive, so that's going to be really difficult for him to deal with. Now, the main problem is if we run into a Dr. 6. Ooh, not so lucky. I think I will leave this thing alive. Yeah, I think I will totem, because I do want... This thing is more... This thing poses more of a threat alive than dead. And it will get healed to 3-4. So that's actually really, really important. There's no way that the Bomb Lobber deals with either of my big scary minions by himself. He needs a sword or he needs a Consecrate. And both of which, neither of which my opponent has in their hand right now. Okay, I think I probably just ignore the Stalag. Okay, Pyro. The Pyro's not going to do anything for me right now. I think we just trade efficiently. Let's see what we find. Okay. Let's see if we can draw something, because the Drakes aren't in too much danger. Yeah, let's push out onto the board. Now, we could be at risk of something like Equality Consecrate, but I don't think this sort of this list runs it. I could hit. Just control the board. I think that makes sense. Just control the board and... Actually, I think I'll leave the 2-1 alive, and I apply 6 damage to the face. Yeah. Because I want to force him... If you want to draw a card, you need to trade into one of my minions. So it takes away takes tempo away on his turn. Now, we haven't drawn either of our hexes, and those will definitely come in useful once he trades off his Stalag and Fugan. Yeah, this is some sort of strange pally deck. Anyway, not overly concerned about that. Okay, let's push out again. Excellent. We'll deal with this and with this. Don't really care. And how much damage are we looking at? We've got 11 on the board. If I develop the Farseer, we'll have enough to kill. But then he's probably going to trade off something. So I don't think it's time to go for the kill just yet. Let's wait. Let's hold our resources, because we do have more resources in hand. We are able to do more things right now. Yeah, exactly. So if I had overcommitted, okay, that's fine. It's not too scary to deal with. And you should actually be trading off that Fugan as quickly as possible. If I was in the position of the Paladin, I would be trading off the Fugan. Because, whoops. How do you say? You want the Stalag to... You want the Thaddeus to come out. Now, we're quite close to getting a...
My eyes are open.
Not quite. Not quite. Yeah, not the best. Not the best outcome. Let's throw the Pyro out. Still not great. Yeah. Although the upshot is that, yeah, that was a little bit. I think that was a little bit hopeful from me. I should have just gone for a straight up play, like, you know, just cleared it without doing any silly things. The upshot is that this thing can't sacrifice itself on my board, and the slime can't. The slime by itself won't get through the Stone Claw. So there's no Thaddeus for this turn. Slime is probably going to trade into my Crusader. Yeah, that's fine. Now we do have some more knife throwing shenanigans. There is a risk of the Thaddeus coming out, but we do have the Hex now, so that's not too bad. Do I want to? No, I don't want to preemptively trigger the Thaddeus. I want to wait for it to come out, because if it comes out on his turn, it'll be sleeping. It'll be fatigued, or whatever it's called. Summoning sickness in Magic the Gathering. It won't be ready to attack, suffice it to say. Now we can get through this with a Hex. Now, are you going to trade out the Thaddeus? Because we still win with the Hex, I believe. Yeah, I can just ignore the Thaddeus. Yeah, we have enough damage to finish. Didn't quite see that, actually. That could have really hurt me. But, yep. So 2 wins, excellent. And we have picked up our Flame Tongue totem. Now this may actually be a good time to stop and reconsider the list. Although we're not having any troubles at the moment. Let me just see how long we've been going for. It's about time. Let's have a quick look at our list and see if we want to make any changes. So we played 3 games. Direwolf. We have double Direwolf. You know what? I do like the flexibility of having 1 Direwolf and 1 Flame Tongue. The issue being the Direwolf you can play on turn 2 in an emergency, like if you get a terrible mulligan or if you just mulligan into that. But the Flame Tongue you can't play on turn 2. Flame Tongue is sort of like a win more card, or you need a charge. You need charge minions, and I do have Argent. You need charge and taunt. So let's note that down. I think Flame Tongue works better with charge and taunt. Direwolf is better without those cards. Now we do have the taunt coming from our hero ability, and we do have a number of good 2-drops. So actually, let's swap it out. So let me note some deck changes. So deck changes, and I think I will do some of those changes that I was talking about previously. So Flame Tongue in, 1 Direwolf out, which means we lose 40 dust. 40 dust reduced. So we will do that. So let's quickly do that. Flame Tongue just gives me a how do you say? Just another way. Just more flexibility. Sometimes you need the 2 attack of the Flame Tongue. Sometimes the 1 attack of the Direwolf will do. Now the Rock Biter. Do I want to get rid of the Rock Biter for another 1-drop? I think I would like to do that. So I will also make this change. This makes it a more minion-heavy list, but the Rock Biter, again, works really well when you have something like a Doom Hammer, which we will not have. And without the Doom Hammer, I think Lightning Bolt is better in either case, because even though Lightning Bolt overloads you, you don't tank the damage to your... I mean, you often don't... You don't A, have to tank the damage to your face, and B, you don't have to sacrifice a minion to do the trade. Obviously, in either situation, if you're going for reach against the opponent's face, they do the same thing. But defensively, Lightning Bolt is much better than Rock Biter, I believe. And defensively, Abusive is even better than Rock Biter, because you get a body on the board, and then you get to taunt up you get to buff one of your totems. So we are taking Abusive in, Rock Biter out, which means we are putting in a common for a Soulbound. So then we are going back up 40 dust. So plus 40 dust. So there's no actual dust changes, but I will have to make some changes to the list, to the list on the right hand side here that you can see that is always omnipresent. Now, what else did I want? Probably sub out Senjin for Argus. That might be useful, actually, because those Arguses really did some work against me. So let's consider that. Because in terms of 4-drops that I can just play on 4, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's already 4 of them. Dark Iron is like sort of in the middle. And Maiden is sort of in the middle. Maiden is actually an excellent 5-drop also. So I think either I take out the Dark Iron for the Senjin, or either I take out the Dark Iron or the Senjin for the Argus. I think I take out Taunt for Taunt. Let's just try that for now. Yeah. So let's do another change. So we're going to do 3 changes. We're going to do Argus in, Senjin out, and Senjin is Soulbound, so it's plus 100 dust. So let's take the Senjin out and put the Argus in. Especially, will also work well because there'll be situations where I can abusive Argus, and ideally I'll probably have a totem on board at some point. So abusive on the totem, and then Argus, and then do some reach nonsense. It's pretty good. Also works really well with Horse Rider. Also works sort of well with Commander and Thunderbluff Valiant. Not quite with Thunderbuff Valiant, but we'll see how we go. Okay, are there any other changes that I want to make? I think we're okay for now. Although the Earth Shock, I wouldn't mind replacing the Earth Shock for another silence effect, because the Earth Shock itself is very fast, but it's not a very high value card. It does deal with things like Azure Drake. I mean, not Azure Drake. It deals with things like, whatchamacallit, Twilight Drakes, sorry, very efficiently. But anything else, you sort of, it's not designed to clear a minion. It's designed to like do half the work, and then you need to do half of the work the other side. So it's actually a really good tempo card, but this isn't really a tempo list. I might be even just better off running double Lightning Bolt, or instead of like run Lightning Bolt, one Crackle. I don't have a Crackle. I could craft Crackle, but we don't need to. Or a Forked Lightning, but a Forked Lightning, I believe, paying 3 mana to deal 2 to 2 enemies. It's a little prohibitive, I do feel. Or I could just sub it out for another 1-drop to start a little quicker. Because I do, if you watch my Rogue series, I like to have at least 3 1-drops in my list. Although with Bombers and Pyros, it's not as important too. So the Earth Shock, I don't know, it's a little bit up in the air right now. Let's leave it for now. It may actually come in handy at some point. So we need to do some more games with it. That's what I'm saying. We need to do some more games with it. So I'll just note, Earth Shock, does it fit in this list? Need more games to tell. Okay, so before we finish up, I'm just going to do some of the admin stuff and update the deck list on the overlay and update the dust cost. So I will be right back after that is done. Okay, I am back, and I believe everything has been updated. If you look on the right hand side here, the deck cost has increased by 100 as we took out the previous changes. Didn't make any changes to the deck cost except for the Argus. The Argus added 100 dust cost. And so everything is changed here, and we are looking pretty good to come back tomorrow, or the next time I do a clip, and do some more climbing, and hopefully we can get to 20 quickly and start facing off some real decks. And hopefully, actually, we also want to get to level 10 Shaman. That would be nice too, because let's just have a look at the Soulbound rewards. You get the major thing you get is Fire Elemental. So include uncraftable cards, Totemic Might. You get Fire Elemental at rank 10, at level 10, and I probably would like some Tuskars also, but we can always come back to that later. Yeah, the main thing is you get Fire Elemental unlocked at level 10. That's the big one, and probably will be trading out my North Sea Kraken here for a Fire Elemental or 2, and just making this list a little leaner. Okay, so let's finish up there. Let me just bring up. Whoops. Let's just get ready to finish up. So thanks in advance, guys, for liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. I do this for the love, and any gestures of appreciation are much appreciated. And hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys are looking forward to the Shaman run as much as I am. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how far I can get with it. I think we can get to at least 15, but maybe that's a little optimistic. And yeah, so I'll be back next time with some more budget Shaman laddering, no epics, legendaries, or adventures. This is NoDust, signing off.